into which I deposited a significant portion of my income every month. My mother, father, and sister were all authorized users on the account. They had debit cards. They had the login information. I was the sole contributor. They were the sole beneficiaries.
They had debit cards.
It had started
They had the login
innocently
information.
enough. Just for
I was
emergencies.
the sole contributor.
Dear darling, my mother
They
had
were the
said,
sole beneficiaries.
you know,
Debit cards.
if the property
It had
taxes
started
were a little high
information.
one year,
Just
or
for
if
I was
Megan
the
needs
sole
new
contributor.
tires for
My
her
mother
car,
was the sole beneficiary.
the first
Debit cards.
emergency was a
It had
vacation to
started
Cancun with my
information.
parents.
Just for I was the
The
sole
second was a down payment on a new car for my sister Megan, after she'd crashed her old one. The emergencies never stopped. The fund became the primary source of payment for their cell phone bills, their car insurance, their groceries, their credit card payments. It was the lifeblood of their comfortable, middle-class existence, an existence they could not actually afford on my father's modest retirement income. I had become their primary source of income, a silent partner in the business of their lives, and my only compensation was the absence of their complaints. I walk over to my desk. The anger from earlier now cooled into a hard, clear resolve. I open my laptop. The screen's glow feels like a spotlight in the dark room. I navigate to the bank's website. I log in to the family fund account. I look at the balance. It's lower than it should be. Then I look at the automatic transfers. My monthly contribution is scheduled to go in next week. My fingers move with cold precision. I navigate to the transfers page. Recurring monthly deposit from Leah Warren's savings. Amount $2,500. I click on it. A menu appears. Edit. Pause. Delete. I press delete. A pop-up asks, "Are you sure you want to permanently delete this scheduled transfer?" My finger hovers over the button for a fraction of a second. This is the point of no return. This is the severing of the cord. I press confirm. Then, I go to the account services page. There's an option I've never even looked at before. Close. Account. I click on it. Another series of prompts. Reason for closing. I type, account no longer needed. The remaining balance, it informs me, will be transferred to my personal savings account within 24 hours. The final screen appears. Are you sure you want to permanently close this account? This action cannot be undone. I smile in the darkness. Cannot be undone. Perfect. I press the final confirmation button. A sense of profound, terrifying peace washes over me. I have amputated a part of my life, a sick, gangrenous limb that was poisoning the rest of me. I go to bed. I don't expect to sleep, but I do. I fall into a deep, dreamless slumber. I am woken at 3:11 a.m. by the frantic, insistent buzzing of my phone on the nightstand. It's my mother. I ignore it. It rings again. My father. I ignore it. It rings again. My sister. I finally reach over and power the phone off completely. When I turn it on again the next morning at 8 a.m., my jaw drops. 89 missed calls, from all of them, over and over. They had discovered the closed account. The ATM was offline, and their world was apparently beginning to crumble. The next few days are a masterclass in narcissistic collapse. The silence, from my end, is met with an escalating wall of noise from theirs. The initial shock gives way to a full-blown, multi-front offensive. I learn, in stark detail, just how deeply my financial support was woven into the fabric of their daily lives. My sister Megan is the first to detail the apocalypse. My car insurance payment was just declined. Leah, do you know how embarrassing that is? What am I supposed to do? Followed by, my credit card payment is due tomorrow. I don't have the money for it. This is going to ruin my credit score. You have to fix this. My mother's texts are a masterwork of emotional manipulation, alternating between wounded bird and righteous fury. I don't know what we ever did to deserve such a cruel and heartless daughter. Then, Your father's mortgage payment was returned for insufficient funds. Because of you, do you want us to lose our home? Is that what you want? My father, who rarely communicates directly, leaves a single, booming voicemail. Leah, this little temper tantrum of yours has gone on long enough. You will call me back immediately, and we will sort this out. This is not how a daughter behaves. I don't respond to any of it. I read their messages with a chilling sense of detachment, like a sociologist studying a foreign tribe. I see now that their love for me was entirely transactional. My value wasn't in who I was, but in what I provided. The moment I stopped providing, I ceased to have any value at all. My banishment from the group chat wasn't a punishment. It was a clumsy, arrogant business decision. They'd decided they no longer needed my emotional input, not realizing that my emotional input was inextricably tied to my financial support. They had fired their most valuable employee without understanding her job description. After 3 days of my silence, they changed tactics. My mother sends a new message to the group chat I am no longer in, but which my Aunt Susan, in a rare moment of either conscience or morbid curiosity, forwards to me. We are having a family Zoom call tonight at 7 to discuss this situation. With Leah, it is mandatory. I laugh out loud. Mandatory. They have no power over me, but they are still issuing commands. Against my better judgment, fueled by a morbid curiosity to see the final act of this play, I decide to join. The moment my face appears on the screen, the attacks begin. It's a digital firing squad. My father, his face red and puffy. My mother, her expression a mask of tragic disappointment. My sister Megan, looking sullen and angry. There you are, my father booms. Do you have any idea the chaos you've caused? This is not about chaos, Dad, I say, my voice surprisingly calm. This is about my decision to step back, as was requested of me. Don't play games, Leah, my sister snaps. This isn't about you stepping back. This is about you being petty and vindictive because your feelings got hurt. You're punishing us. It's selfish. Selfish. The word they have always used to keep me in line. Any act of self-preservation, any boundary, any no, was always framed as an act of profound selfishness. And for the first time, I don't flinch. They keep talking, their voices overlapping in the tinny audio of the Zoom call, a chorus of blame. I am bitter, I am unstable, I am grateful, I am trying to destroy the family. I listen, my expression unreadable. I let them exhaust their ammunition. I let them build their narrative of my villainy. Are you done? I ask, when they finally pause to take a breath. The question hangs in the digital air. They look at each other, confused. They expected me to cry, to yell, to defend myself. They were prepared for an emotional fight. They were not prepared for my calm. I'm not going to argue with you, I say, my voice even and clear. Arguing about feelings is pointless. You have your narrative, and you are entitled to it. But facts are different from feelings. So, let's look at some facts. I move my cursor to the bottom of the Zoom screen. I click the share screen button. A new window pops up on their screens. It's not a family photo, it's a spreadsheet. A meticulously organized, color-coded, brutally detailed spreadsheet. What is it? The screen, this, I say, is the Holloway Family Fund, 2019 to 2024. A detailed accounting. I thought it was time we all got on the same page about what my stepping back actually means. I slowly scroll through it, page after page, of line items. Each one is dated, described, and quantified. January 2019. Payment for Megan's masterclass subscription, $180. March 2019. Contribution to Dad's golf club membership dues. July 2020. full payment for family vacation. To the Florida Keys excluding Leah, $4,650 monthly. 2019 to 2024. Verizon Wireless Family Plan. Average monthly cost covered by LW, $280. On and on it goes. Car payments for my sister. Credit card bills for my mother. Property taxes on my parents' house. Every subscription, every vacation, every emergency, every single dollar I had poured into the black hole of their lives. Their faces on the screen are frozen. The color drains from my mother's face. My sister's jaw is slack. My father looks like he's been punched in the gut. The silence is absolute. I scroll to the very bottom of the spreadsheet, to the final cell, highlighted in a stark, angry, read the grand total, I announce into the silence. Of my contributions over the last 5 years, which does not include my own living expenses, my own savings, or my own retirement contributions, is $87,020. I let the number hang there, a bomb that has already detonated. So, when I say I am stepping back, this is what I am stepping back from. I am no longer your financial provider. I have closed the account, I have spoken to my lawyer, and I have taken steps to ensure that my name and my finances are no longer legally or practically entangled with any of yours. The safety net is gone. You are on your own. I stop sharing my screen. Their shocked, pale faces fill my monitor again. For the first time in my entire life, they are speechless. I have taken their narrative, and I have bludgeoned it to death with the truth. A truth quantified down to the last penny. This meeting is over, I say. And I click leave meeting, plunging them back into their own self-created chaos. The week after the Zoom call is silent. A heavy, ringing silence. I expect another barrage, another attempt to fight back. But there is nothing. A part of me feels a grim satisfaction. I had one. I had presented the undeniable truth, and they had no response. I thought the war was over. I was so wrong. It had only just begun. A week later, a thick envelope arrives in the mail. It's from a major national bank, one I don't have any accounts with. The return address is their corporate fraud investigation unit. My heart starts to pound with a new, unfamiliar kind of dread. This isn't about the family fund. This is something else. I sit down at my kitchen table, my hands trembling slightly as I rip open the envelope. The letter inside is dense with legal jargon, but the message is terrifyingly clear. Dear Ms. Warren, this letter is to inform you that we are investigating a recent application for a small business loan in the amount of $80,000, filed under your name and social security number. The application was flagged by our underwriting department due to several irregularities, including a signature that does not appear to match the signature we have on file for you from a previous credit inquiry. The letter falls from my fingers onto the table. $80,000. A business loan. I don't own a business. The letter continues, explaining that the application listed a shell corporation with my parents' home address as its place of business. It included forged documents and a falsified business plan. The application had been submitted 2 weeks ago, the day before they sent me the message in the group chat, the day before they exiled me, and suddenly, with a clarity so bright it feels like a physical blow, I understand everything. The timing, the strange corporate language of the message, the banishment. It wasn't a punishment. It wasn't about my behavior or their hurt feelings. It was a strategy. A cold, calculated, criminal conspiracy they were planning to take out. This massive fraudulent loan in my name. They were going to drain the $80,000, and then, by exiling me from the family, they were creating a narrative. They were building a case. When the bank eventually came looking for the money, when the loan defaulted, they would have their story ready. Oh, our daughter Leah. We're not on speaking terms. She's very unstable, you know? She cut us all off months ago. We have no idea what she's been up to. They weren't just exiling me from their lives. They were attempting to frame me, to saddle me with a crippling, life-destroying debt while simultaneously creating the perfect alibi for themselves. They were going to ruin my life and walk away. Clean. The rage that fills me now is unlike anything I have ever felt before. It's not hot and explosive. It's ice cold. It's a diamond-hard, crystalline fury. This wasn't a family drama about codependency and entitlement anymore. This was a premeditated felony. This was a betrayal so profound, so monstrous, that it transcended family entirely. This was war, and they had just handed me the nuclear codes. In the face of this new, horrifying truth, there is no more hesitation, there is no more doubt. The part of me that still felt a residual, conditioned guilt, the part that wondered if I had been too harsh, dies a swift and painless death. They did not just want my money, they wanted to destroy me. And that knowledge is profoundly, terribly liberating. It gives me permission to do what I should have done years ago, protect myself, ruthlessly and without apology. I don't confront them with my discovery. Why would I? You don't warn the enemy that you have discovered their battle plans. You simply use that knowledge to ensure their absolute annihilation. I spend my entire weekend in a state of cold, focused fury. I become a paralegal in my own case. I make copies of everything. The letter from the bank's fraud department, the fraudulent loan application, which the investigator kindly emailed to me. I print out my spreadsheet, all 5 years of their financial dependency. I print out the text messages, the emails, the transcript of my aunt's forwarded message. I create 3 identical, meticulously organized packets of evidence. On Monday morning, I take a personal day from work. My first stop is the bank that sent me the letter. I meet with the fraud investigator, a kind, weary-looking man named Mr. Davies. I hand him my packet. I sign an affidavit, a sworn statement detailing the entire history of financial abuse and culminating in this fraudulent loan attempt. I point out that the signature on the application is a clear, if clumsy, forgery. His expression grows more and more grim as he looks through the documents. "Ms. Warren," he says, his voice serious, "this is one of the most brazen cases of familial fraud I've ever seen. We will be pursuing this to the fullest extent of the law." My second stop is the local police precinct. I file a formal police report for identity theft and attempted grand larceny against my father, my mother, and my sister. Handing the officer my packet of evidence feels like shedding a physical weight from my shoulders. My final stop is the post office. I package the 3rd set of documents. This one I send to the Criminal Investigation Division of the Internal Revenue Service. The envelope contains the spreadsheet, the evidence of years of them living on my undeclared, untaxed financial support, and the evidence of the fraudulent business loan. I send it with delivery confirmation. I am not just defending myself. I am methodically and systematically dismantling the entire corrupt enterprise that they call a family. I am using the system they tried to use against me, and I am turning it back on them with the full force of the law. One evening, I get a call from a number I don't recognize, but the name that pops up is one from deep in my past. Uncle Stephen, my father's brother. A kind, gentle man who was himself exiled from the family 15 years ago for refusing to co-sign a risky business loan for my dad. "Leah," he says, his voice warm and sad. "I heard what happened. I just wanted to call and say, I'm proud of you, and I'm so sorry it came to this." We talk for over an hour, he tells me. Stories about my father's youth, about my grandparents, about a long, generational pattern of financial manipulation and emotional blackmail. He confirms that my experience wasn't a fluke. It was a legacy. A sickness passed down through the bloodline. You didn't just save yourself, kiddo, he says before we hang up. You broke the chain. His words are a bomb on a wound I didn't even know was still open. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't the villain. I was a survivor of a pattern. A few days later, another message. This one on social media, from a man named Nathan, my sister Megan's ex-boyfriend from years ago. A sweet guy I always liked, whom Megan had dumped because he wasn't ambitious enough. His message is short. Hey Leah, hope you don't mind me reaching out. Heard about what went down. Just wanted to say thank you. You have no idea how many times I paid her bills, thinking I was helping her. You saved her from herself, and you probably saved some other poor guy from going through what I did. You did the right thing. This external validation, from two people who had seen the system from the outside, is more powerful than any court judgment. It confirms the truth I had finally, painfully, come to accept. I was not the one who was broken. The family, the system itself, was broken. And my only crime was trying to hold it together for far too long. 1 year later, I live in a different city now. I took a job in Portland, a place where the air is clean and no one knows my last name. My apartment is smaller, but it's all mine. The quiet in it is peaceful, not hollow. My dog loves the endless hiking trails. I am, for the first time in my life, profoundly, deeply at peace. The legal consequences for my family were severe. The bank's fraud case led to criminal charges. Faced with irrefutable evidence, they pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. My father and sister got probation and heavy fines. The IRS audit was, from what my uncle tells me, financially ruinous. They lost the house. Their lives as they knew them are over. They still try to contact me sometimes, using new email addresses, leaving pleading, desperate messages that my spam filter usually catches. They are ghosts, and I have learned how to be an exorcist. I'm in a coffee shop near my new apartment. When I see her, my Aunt Susan, the one who liked the message, she's visiting her own daughter, who, by sheer coincidence, lives 2 blocks away from me. She spots me, and her face freezes. She comes over to my table. Leah, she says, her voice a nervous whisper. We all miss you. I just look at her. I don't say a word. Listen, she says, leaning in conspiratorially. I know things are tight for everyone right now, but my property taxes are due, and I was just wondering if you could see your way to helping me out. Just this once, for old time's sake. I stare at her, and I start to laugh. Not a bitter laugh. A genuine, full-throated, joyful laugh. The absurdity of it. The sheer, unadulterated proof that they are incapable of change. The sickness is too deep. No, Susan, I say, my smile, wide and bright. I can't. She recoils, as if I've slapped her. She mutters something about me being cold and heartless and scurries away. I take a sip of my latte, and I realize the truth that has been settling in my soul for the past year. They tried to write a story about me. In their story, I was the ungrateful daughter, the selfish sister, the villain who destroyed the family. But they got it wrong. I am not the villain of their story. I am the one who escaped. It happened on a Thursday night. There was no prelude, no warning shot. Just the quiet hum of my laptop, the comforting weight of my dog sleeping at my feet, and the soft glow of my phone screen lighting up with a notification. It was from the family group chat, a digital space I usually kept muted, a toxic river of petty grievances, humble brags from my sister, and passive-aggressive memes from my mother. The chat was named, without a hint of irony, Warren Family Fun. My name is Leah Warren. I'm 35 years old. I'm a graphic designer. I work from home, and for the last decade, I have been the designated grown-up in a family of emotional toddlers. I am the stable one, the responsible one, the one with the good credit and the steady income. I am the family's silent, unacknowledged benefactor. Their walking, breathing safety net. A role I never auditioned for, but was cast in by default. The message was from my mother, Joan. It was addressed to